Good morning everybody, and a very warm welcome to Mildenhall and Volmer, and today is a mega update for you. This is a slightly delayed video for you. There's also going to be some budget tips as well. One of the reasons why this video has been delayed is because I'm actually back at work. So that's good in some ways. Obviously still got a job, so that keeps the money rolling in and that keeps the layout alive. So that's all great. As well as being back at work, one of the advantages of being back at work is I've been able to get some supplies, which I haven't necessarily been able to get here in Alton. I mean, I can get them in Alton, but it's all about making the most and getting the most out of your money. And what I mean by that is there's a few items I'm going to show you. Now, I've gone through this some time ago. When I was at Beringer, I used to do a bit of Queen Aline budget saving tips. And one of the things I used to sort of say is just to give you some tips on how to save some money. So things like glue can be quite expensive. Now, us as modelers, we always go through tons of glue, whether it be PVA, UHU type glue, super glue type glue, any kind of glue. We modelers just go through a lot of it. And here are some glue that I've managed to get on the cheap, because you can. The first glue I'm just going to quickly talk about is this glue. This is like a Pritt stick type glue. It could be from anywhere. This has come from Sainsbury's, and this has cost £1, which I think, you know, is pretty reasonable. Like I said, it's if you go, it's exactly the same as the well-known brand, as I just said, and sometimes a lot of these brands can be actually cheaper. And so this has just cost £1. So rather than going to places like your where you consider going, like to your stationaries, whether it be Ryman's or Smith's or something, where they might charge where they might charge more. Sometimes if you think outside of the box and go to your local supermarkets and things like this, you can pick these things up a lot cheaper, and they do their own brands, or go to Wilko's or somewhere like that. So this cost £1, so I thought that's pretty good. One of my favourite shops, which we don't have in Alton, we have in Basingstoke, which is where I work, is Poundland. And Poundland is absolutely fantastic for glue, at least the one in Basingstoke is. So I stocked up on glue because I know I go through so much of it. Now, for those of you who don't really know, I do make a lot of stuff through modules. My corner filler with the truck ramp and the rest of it leading up to the town, that's a module. Now, I tend to use a glue gun for that. And obviously for glue guns you need glue sticks, and this is a pack of 32 glue sticks from Poundland for just £1. Now that's just like amazing value, that is. So you can't really argue with that, you know. And I go through tons of this stuff as well. So it is worth going to Poundland to go and get these bits if you've got one near you. One of the biggest thing that I get from Poundland, which I think is absolutely brilliant, is I get UHU, and I've got I don't know if I've still got it, bear with me 1 minute, I think I might still have, well, unless I threw it away. I did actually have a small tube of UHU, I was going to say of YouTube. So let me just see if I can find it, just to give you a real comparison, because it's really worth it. So bear with me a second. Right, so welcome back. Right, so, and I think this is well worth the comparison, because it just shows you how you can get ripped off with these things. Now, I got this tube of UHU for £2.59 here in Alton, because I needed some. And I got it from, like, I think it's an off license or something like that. £2.59 it's cost me for this. This, and I'll take it out so you can definitely see the difference. This is full, this one hasn't actually been opened. So this UHU glue has cost me £1 from Poundland. So £1 for that, or £2.59 for that. So it is well worth going to Poundland, and I go through a lot of this stuff. Now you have to be a bit careful, because before, I don't know if they still do it, but my Poundland has stopped doing it. There used to be, this is the regular Yoo-hoo, and there used to be a Yoo-hoo Power. It used to say Power in the corner. Now the Power ones tend to be smaller tubes, so if you go to Poundland, just check to make sure that the one you're looking for is just the regular standard Yoo-hoo, not the Power one, because the Power one will be smaller. So I've been going through loads of that stuff. So the next thing to talk to you about is also my station. I haven't finished it, but it's near enough finished. So I can't remember, oh no, I haven't glued that bit yet, so I was just checking to see if I had glued that bit, because I was going to lift it up to show you, but I haven't actually glued that bit yet, but I will show you. So my station, I'll show you where we're at. So this is the station building from the front, and as I promised you, nothing has changed at the front. However, in saying that, there is a little ramp here. As you can see, I've put a ramp here, and that leads up to the platform. And if I spin you around the back, you can see what I've done at the back. So this is now the back of the building. It's got some advertising. It's got the station name here. It has got some barriers here, well, it's shutters I should say, and it's also got some ticket machine barriers here. It isn't finished by any stretch of the imagination. I'd hoped it would be finished, but to be honest, I've been spreading the work out because I've been doing many other bits and pieces in and around the layout, which is why it's called a mega update. So I'm going to put this down, and then I'm going to show you exactly in more detail what's been done to this building, so you can see for yourself. So I've just taken you off the tripod and let it freehand because the tripod doesn't quite get as low as I'd like. So this is on the test platform that I was using originally at Mildenhall Station. That just goes to show you how it kind of butts up to the platform. And I've also added the semicircle window to that, and I'm going to sort of take it inside and show you what I've been doing. Now this hasn't got any detail as such yet, and this is one of the things I'm still working on, but this has an interior wrap on the walls. And when I mean interior wrap, what it means is that this whole wall here is one complete section. So basically what this means is just that what I've done is I've cut a strip of card and scored it, so one strip of card has just been bent in all around into the building, and there's the flooring, and that's what's been done there. And as you can see, here is the ramp that will lead up to the platform. So I've still got interior to do for this. I haven't done the lighting on this, but like I said, there is a reason. So if I show you what that looks like from here, you can see the ticket barriers inside. I'm just going to lift this up, lift the roof off, and as you can see, this is the actual interior of the roof dome, which I had before, but what I've done is I've changed it. So as you can see, I've taken the ends out, so the ends are no longer there. I've still got the two holes. I'm still debating whether I'm going to use this or not. So what I've done is on the interior here, I've added these matchsticks here. There's one on this side and a row on this side, and basically the dome will basically sit on top of those matchsticks, and that also gives it a nice interior finish. Also, as you can see, the floor is now level, and it's level with here as well. There's a slight little ramp, which I don't mind, I quite like that. And I've also got these ticket barriers, which I haven't glued. I've mounted these onto card, and then basically the flooring wrap just goes slightly over, so there's a slight ramp attached to it. The reason is because what I wanted to do is add these ramps, these barriers on first, and I wasn't quite sure how to line them up, and it's easier to line them up this way than to line them up directly into the interior of the building in case I didn't like it, and then I'd rip the flooring out with the glue. So I decided to do it this way, and then I can adjust it, because what I'm going to do is let me just do it like this from my point of view first. So it's going to sit about there, or maybe not, somewhere a bit more level like that. And then what I'll do is I'll barrier it off all the way across to meet these two walls to make sure that people can't sort of walk around it. But I haven't finished that yet. I've also added some advertising, some timetables. I've painted a wrap. The wrap is also, the roof here, the interior walls here is also a wrap. It's a wrap around. So that's again one strip of card, wrap it all the way around. But I didn't quite have enough to do the back, so what I did is I had to make a separate piece for the back. But as you can see, there's like an interior line as well, the blue line that goes all the way around, which I really like. It gives it kind of classic traditional feel to it, so I really like this, and it's a lot more open. There's a lot more floor space, as you can see. So like I said, there's still lots to do. So if I just sort of, that's the dome, and that kind of, as you can see, will sit on the matchsticks. So that fills up the matchsticks, and then the roof can then go on top like so. Now in this room's had some works, had some detail. Again, there's more signage here. And like I said, the back's finished. So in here, there is some detail here. There's a poster. There's a monitor. It's not a TV, it's a monitor just to let the passengers know what platforms the trains come into and where their destinations are. There's some refreshments machines. One's for like snacks and the other one's for drinks. I've also got some seating here. And also the flooring is there. Again, the wall is a wrap around all the way around. And then I've got a partition wall. This is going to be the unisex toilets, which I've done a floor a la Tony Northeastern. But I haven't fitted anything there yet, so that's still got to be done. It's just that I kind of did this, and I basically just ended up giving this a bit of a break, and so I can end up doing some other bits and pieces which I wanted to show you and do as well, and basically generally move the whole station forward. I mean, a lot of this update is actually about moving the station forward and getting it up and running, as you can see. So that's how it kind of looks at the moment. I don't know what I've done with the other bit. Oh, here it is. So that's as far as we've got with the station. But like I said, and I have actually tested it onto the main layout, and it does actually work. So it does work on the main layout. So that's actually brilliant. So I'm now going to sort of take you to the main layout and show you what else has been done. So one of the other big jobs that's been done since I last spoke to you, as you can see directly in front of you, is I've now done the fascia board. The fascia board has now been done and applied with the Mildenhall and Volmer station signage, and there's also a Southwest Trains one, and it goes all the way down there. The only bit I haven't done, which I'm going to do, is I'm going to bring that fascia board and I'm going to wrap it around so it finishes up along the back window there with the kind of mini fiddle yard that I've got going on there. So that's something else I'm going to be doing just to finish up and tidy that up. But the actual colours are totally exact and it looks absolutely brilliant. I'm really pleased with that. So like I said, so I'm going to carry on bringing it round the corner and finish it up so it's going to all look nice and finished and nice and tidy. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to raise you up. Oh, actually, I'm not going to raise you up. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit you back down again because I've got something else to tell you about. Yes, that's cool. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Right, so speak to you shortly. So, hello! Right, now, I was meant to show you the layout, but then something occurred to me that I should show you first. Right, I've got a new loco. Ooh, very exciting. So yeah, I've got a brand new locomotive. Now, I've never owned one of these before. It's the first time I've owned one, and I was quite excited by it, and it was a bit of a bargain. So, what I've done is, I'm going to show you what it is. It's basically this. This is a Hornby Class 66. And in the, as you can see, the pink 1 livery. And the R number for this is R3923. And that is the information that you should require, should you require it. And that's what it is. Now, like I said, I've never owned a Hornby 66 before. I've heard they're a bit hit and miss and all the rest of it. I had words with Alan over at Dragon Junction, my old buddy. And I know he owned a few, so I spoke to him about his. And I remember he had issues with his to begin with, which he then sorted out. So I was a bit kind of dubious about buying it, but I got this from my local model shop. And I'll always try, wherever I can, to support my local model shop. It's very important to me to support my local businesses, whether it be my local model shop or anywhere else locally. It's just something I'm a believer in. You know, with these big internet companies just basically taking over the world at the moment, you know, soon the high street's dying off on us. So, you know, it's important to support your local businesses where you can. So that's what I've always tried to do. I've always tried to avoid buying it from the online retailers, just because, and also because I'm just old school. I kind of like the idea of just seeing what I'm buying, and then that way, if there's anything wrong, I can sort it out there and then, rather than having to go backwards and forwards to a post office. So this is it, and I have to say it's pretty much as most people have said about the Hornby 66, and I totally agree with what's been said about them. They're great value for money. I don't regret buying it. It's not as refined as my Batman 66 is, no way. And in fact, it was a bit of a pig to get it to run. I seem to be finding out recently that there's a number of locomotives in my fleet that are quite fussy about which decoders you put in them, and it's almost like they throw a tantrum if they don't like it. And what I mean by that is that my 66 is one of those. This new one was an example of that. My HST was another one that I've just found out is exactly the same. I have a Batman 450, which is also the same, where if they don't like the decoder in it, they seem to be very fussy about what decoder you put in it, and they start going, they're just stuttering and they don't like it. It's like, no, I don't like this, I don't want to go. And it's just kind of like, and it just seems that sometimes just by swapping out the decoders, they seem to run better. And this is what's happened with the Hornby 66. The decoder I originally put in it was just a decoder I had, and I put that one in, and because one of my other locomotives didn't like their decoder either, so I swapped them around to see if that would help, and in the end it didn't help either of them. They were both still not happy. And then I found another decoder, and I put that one in, and then it liked that one, and then the other one liked the other one, and it's just trying, like I said. So I've had a few locomotives like that where they've thrown tantrums over which decoders you put in, and they just don't seem to like certain decoders. I've found that the HST and the Hornby 66, and they've both got the same motor in it. They're both Hornbys. They've both got the same motor in it, and it seems to be something with that motor that there's certain chips that they just don't like. And I don't know why. I don't know what the reason is, but they just stutter and splutter, and they run so roughly. And it's got nothing to do with running in, they just don't like the chip. So I've now managed to get the HST running better. I've now managed to get the 66 to run better as well. So let me take you to the layout now and show you the 66 in more detail. So here is my Hornby 66 on the layout, as one we can, is the name on it. 66587. Now, I have to say, it cost me, I think it was £67 for this. And I have to say, despite the fact the way it was running, I'm not disappointed in it. I just think it's what you get what you pay for, and I think this is a classic case of you get what you pay for. Like I said, it's not all singing or dancing or anything. It's not as refined as my 66s. It doesn't have lights like my 66s. However, essentially it's a Lima 66 retooled and just given a bit of an upgrade and a makeover. And what I really like about it is this actually Hornby have provided you with etched nameplates. I haven't fitted them yet, but they do provide you with etched nameplates, which I think is really, really a nice touch, considering that it, you know, like I said, it isn't like up to Bachmann standards. I don't own a Hattons, but from what I gather from Hattons, I know it's not as good as Hattons either. However, you know, Hattons have had their own issues with their 66s, and yeah, you know, so it's like I say, you pay your money and you take your choice really. And like I said, she probably does need a sound chip in it, because the sound of the motor is the same as in actually this HST, which is quite noisy. So I'm hoping over time it'll just eventually quieten down, but it is still quite a noisy motor. So I'm going to take you off the tripod. I'm going to take you a bit closer to have a look. So I think it's quite nice, actually. I like it, and I like it running around the layout. Like I said, it runs well enough, and it is what it is. So I'm not disappointed in it. Would I buy another one? Maybe. I wouldn't say I would or I wouldn't, but maybe. It does seem to run all right on my layout. It doesn't seem to have any trouble pulling anything. So from that point of view, it does what it needs to do. So whilst I was at my local model shop buying this, I also got a couple of bits to go with it, with my 66. Now, I'm not sure if many of you know, but at the moment, Hornby have recently released some new containers. So for those of you into your containers, they've now started selling container packs. They do this for the One, Malcolm Logistics, I believe it's Freightliner Colours, and I think there's another one somewhere along the line, I can't remember. So there's a few packs that have come out, and they're very reasonably priced. I got this pack, which is one 20-foot container, one 40-foot container, and they come as a pack. So you get both in one pack, and they were 12. I think I paid $12.60 or 12. It was something like that. Basically, between this and the 66, I paid under £80, which is absolutely brilliant. Now, I should tell you, because it's very important to tell you, because it's very difficult to see on camera, just by looking at this. I mean, obviously you can tell that this one's a lot shorter, this one's half the size, and this is a 20-foot container, and that's a 40-foot. And it's very important, because Bachmann containers are not 40-foot, and it's something to bear in mind. So if I just do that like so, you can sort of have an idea of what I'm talking about. Bear with me a minute. Just get them all lined up. So that's a Bachmann container, and this is the Hornby pack. And it's so important to sort of show you, because you can see, look, they're right on the edge, so all that's right flat. And it's important to mention it because if you have a container layout and you have run containers, it's important to know because of the fact that you've got container wagons, and some of these wagons will accept only certain size containers. For example, the Dapol spine wagons will not take the Batman containers because this is a 45-foot container, and it won't fit onto the Batman because I've tried. Because when I originally bought the Dapol container spine wagons, I just took it for granted that this particular container that I had would just automatically just sit on top of the container and wagon and will just fit automatically, and it didn't fit. It will fit, I guess, if you use blue tack or if you glue it, but if you're trying to line it up with the holes that are in or on the on the container wagon, they just don't fit. However, the two Hornby ones do. If you line them up like that, they will both fit onto the container spine wagons, which I will demonstrate to you shortly. So that's something to bear in mind if you do container layouts. And also, I just wanted to show you a difference between what I've got, the containers that I've got with the crane. Now these are the two 20-foot containers that I got with the crane, the HO crane, the Lima crane. This is a proper scaled version, double O scale version of it. So you can see the difference, it's so much bigger. You can see. One of the other major advances and advantages to having the container pack from Hornby is something that my Batman ones just don't do. I've got a few of them and they don't, and that is you can open the doors at the back. I don't believe you can on the 20-foot ones. I haven't been successful in doing that as such yet. I don't know if you can prise them open, but you definitely can on the 40-foot. So this is the 20-foot one. I haven't been able, and it doesn't look like you can, but I could be wrong. But you definitely can. So if you wanted to do a scene or a diorama or something where you've got the container on a warehouse or in a yard somewhere, and you want to make it out like the forklift's coming out, taking a pallet out from the back of the container, you can do it with a Hornby one because the door's open. You won't have to bother getting a Dremel out and trying to cut it out and all the rest of it. So this is something that you can bear in mind as well. Like I said, these two as a pack cost £12, just over £12.50. But again, it probably just depends where you shop. You might be able locally to get it cheaper, or it might be slightly more expensive. But for me, I found these were pretty good value, and I will be buying some more. So I'm now going to take you back to the layout, and I'm going to take you to the spine wagons to demonstrate what I mean about the holes and lining up onto my container wagons. So join me shortly. So my new 66 is just coming into shot now, and as you can see, she's a bit on the noisy side. Not, but she'll run all right. Like I said, she's not the most smoothest, but I'm not going to complain about that. Like I said, for what she is, I think it's great price and great value for money. But I'm just sort of letting you guys know in case it does bother you. Right, so what do I do with these containers? Right, here we go. So this is demonstration time, and these are the Dapol spine wagons that I was talking to you about. And as you can see, if I put the holes there, the hole is lined up there, but not lined up there. And if you do it the other way, it's the same again. They don't line up. See, the hole's lined up at this end, but it won't line up at this end. And if you move it further down, it just doesn't line up at all either. So the only way you can do it is if you want to use these on here, you can just like blue tack them or something down if you want, But I don't know, it's not really something, like I said, there is a workaround, but it's not really my thing. However, so this is the Hornby one, literally. and as you can see, the holes line up on here, which is there and there. So they do line up. And if you do it like that, they also line up there as well. So that's great. So you can use those to line them up. And on top of that, you can also do the same with the 20-foot containers. They also line up in the same way. So as you can see, they line up as well. And then you can put them like that. So in my view, Hornby have got it right. I mean, I do understand that you get 45-foot containers as well as 40-foot and you get all kinds of sizes. And I guess it must be difficult to kind of get them to line up. I just thought that they were all kind of standardized when I bought the wagon containers. I just expected that you could just buy any container you wanted and you could just put them on any container wagon and they would all fit, but they clearly don't fit. And they don't even fit on their own by the looks of things. Let me just sort of have a little look, see. They might fit on their own ones. I haven't actually checked properly, to be truthful with you. There you go. So those are the Bachmann ones, which I bought previously. And actually, I actually think that these Dapol spine wagons would actually benefit from containers be put on them in any case. Anyone who owns these will know that these are quite light and they're quite prone to derailing in any case. So if you put some container wagons on them, they will give you a bit of extra weight on them, and it'll just be, make them a bit more stable. So that's kind of, I think it looks really good. Let's give it a little whiz round. This 66 is far more happier on this decoder than it was on the original decoder. But as you can hear, it is a bit kind of... As you can hear her grinding around the layout. She's just coming around now. But once she's going, she's all right, and she's pulling a good train length, at least for my layout anyway. So I'm pretty pleased with her. So hello again. So the next thing to talk to you about, more new stuff. So we've now covered the station, we've covered glue, and we're just in the process of covering some new stock. So you've seen my new 66 and the containers that go with it. So the next thing to talk to you about, which is also new, is some vehicles. So this is quite exciting. So as many of you will know, I have been running quite older period vehicles because I was running a lot of blue and NSC and stuff, that kind of thing. So I've started to build up my selection of vehicles again. And recently I got myself a little transit van, Royal Mail transit van by Oxford Diecast, which is really lovely. So that was to be kind of used as to go up the ramp maybe, and when the parcels train came, to be able to just offload the parcels off the back of the van and onto the train. So that was kind of how that one worked. Also, I managed to get an AA van, and my apologies if you can hear the screaming in the background, it's just a child crying away. So I've got a transit van by the AA, so that's another transit van that I've got, which is really, really nice. I really like that. In fact, let me just show it to you proper. There you go. So I haven't taken it out yet. So I'm starting to get some more bits and pieces for the layout, vehicle-wise, to marry up. Also recently I got a taxi. This is the Coca-Cola version. So that's quite cool. And also I managed to get a police car. No flashing lights or anything. Maybe later or something. But I liked it. There you go. So that's really cool. And in fact that lid wants to come out, so you can probably see it a bit better. There you go. Since the lid wants to come off. Which is pretty cool. I like that. That's that. Now, the other thing, I've got some more vehicles to show you, which is also new, which I'm going to show you shortly. But before I do that, let me just talk to you about recently, about 2 weeks ago now, my dear friend Gary over from Cheeky Tech, that's how most of you will know him, as Cheeky Tech, came over to visit me. And he brought me over some goodies. And not only did he do that, he also did something else, which I'm going to show you straight after this. A little while ago, I'd given him some vehicles which I thought he could make use of, and this time round he reciprocated and brought me over some vehicles that he thought that I could do with, which I think was absolutely brilliant. And it's really cool that not only are we seriously good friends, but also that even within the community, people are kind of willing to sort of go, well, look, if anyone wants this or that, let me know, and I'll quite happily, send stuff over. I mean, like I said, it evidences all over my layout, and that's something else I'm going to show you shortly. So, so he brought me over some really lovely vehicles. One of them he did himself, and the other he's bought. So he gave me this Network Rail van, this transit van, which is really, really lovely. So that will sit more in keeping with my layout as it is now than when I was doing it before. So that's one of these high roof transit vans, which is really nice. He also bought me a couple of Unimogs, Mercedes Unimogs, which are quite odd looking, but they do use them on the Network Rail, and in fact they've actually got the Network Rail branding on them, and here they are. So he said if you can make use of those, then by all means. It's got lots of detail on it, and it's got the logos on it. He actually gave me 2 of them, so that's really cool, and they look really, really nice. I'm not quite sure, because obviously space is now limited on my layout, so I'm going to see how I'm going to work it all in. I haven't really decided how that's all going to work. And one of the other things, and this one I really particularly like, and the reason why I particularly like it is because he did it himself. And this is what he did himself, which I thought was really fantastic. So he gave me this transit van also, in a yellow, which is really cool. So I'm really pleased with that. But whilst he was here, and whilst we were having a really nice conversation and just catching up in general, he kindly fitted lights into my HST, which is something that I've been after for some time. Now, if I remember, and if I can, I will put a link to his video, because I believe he did a video on it, and I still haven't got around to watching it because I'm so behind. But I was aware of it. I caught a glimpse of it, and so therefore I said to him that, yes, I said I'd love to be able to do that on my HST, and obviously, he kindly offered to do that for me, and now my HST has got working lights at both ends, albeit it's headlights and tail lights at each end only, so there's no directional function on them. So, but I'm more than grateful for what he's done. So I'm going to show you that on the layout now. Like I said, I turned off the 66 because it's quite loud, so you can actually hear me what I'm actually saying. So I'm going to get the HST running, and then you can see the HST in action. with its working tail lights that Gary kindly did for me. So Gary, if you're watching, thank you so much, my love. So yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. So let's get the HST in action so you can have a look. The other thing I should say about this HST is that when he did do it, the dummy car, which is what he did, didn't have any weight in it. And he did suggest to me, because it needed the weight to make sure that the wheels were picking up correctly, and so the lights wouldn't keep flickering. So if you see the lights flickering, it was generally because it didn't have any weight in it. I've since corrected it, and I managed to find the weight off of one of my other HST dummy power up cars, and I've taken the weight out of that and putting it into that, and it's now sort of cured it. It still does flicker from time to time, but she works a treat. So I'm going to spin you around to get it running, and then you can actually have a look. So my HST was another one of those that didn't like the decoder that was in it, and so I've swapped out the decoder, and it now seems to be a bit happier. So I'm just going to hopefully, oh yeah, that's because I didn't do it the right way around. That's the only thing about having tail lights on at the same time. As you can see, you can hear it's a bit grindy. So as you can see the HST coming around. There you go. As you can see, Gary's kindly done that. And she's got the same motor as the 66, so you can actually hear it. It's just quite grindy. So that's really cool. I think it will stay on, because I'm pretty certain it just needs a power. So I'll stop it when it next comes round. Then you can sort of see in closer detail. That was me just automatically slamming on the brakes. I'm not really too keen on my controller at the moment. But I'm still using the Prodigy Express. So let me just take you closer in. So here it is with the tail lights, and like I said, it's just tail lights only. And he's kindly done that for me, so thank you once again, Gary, for doing that for me. And it just looks absolutely ace now. Now, I know some people will probably turn around and say that that isn't the right configuration for the lighting. It was for the original HSTs, but I do know that the GWR HST's rear taillights was a slightly different configuration. But to be perfectly truthful, I'm very grateful that I have working taillights on this and that it works. And it kind of reminds me of my original HST, because the original HST that I originally had, that was how it was. So, you know, I'm just grateful that it has got and I think that the East Midlands HSTs still had this configuration. It was the GWR ones that were slightly different configuration to how they are today. But like I said, I'm just grateful that Gary's done this for me, and it's absolutely brilliant. So I need to talk to you about something else now. Something else I have been doing along here is I've extended the platforms out slightly. This is just to allow me to fit the full coach EMU along this bay platform. So I've extended it out by this platform edge and those two pieces. So that's the new bit. And on this side I've actually added another section of Hornby track and the ramp that I had spare. I also added the sides for the brickwork, which I got a few weeks ago from my local printers. So I've just added those in. So that again, just to add the extension to get the full training. And you can just about get the HST and its 4 coaches in there. So something else I've been up to is I've now put the backboards up. They were off for about a week or so whilst I did some detailing work, and as you can see I've now added signage across, all the way across. So there's posters, Mildenhall station signage, and there's also platform signage. You can't really tell from this angle because they're actually just poking out, but you can actually see them. Something else I've also done is also I've independently added lighting to that back wall. Like I said before, the actual back scene is in 3 pieces. There's 1, 2 and 3. But this back piece here isn't actually affected, but these 2 are, because they've got that join there. So I had to put I had to rewire it all to make sure that all these, because before the lighting wasn't actually working before, so now all of these lights now all work along the station. So that's now all working now, and which is absolutely fantastic. But like I said, it was a bit of a wiring job to get it all done. So I'm going to switch on the lights so you can see it. So bear with me one moment, I'll switch the lights on for you. So as you can see, I've darkened the room up as best as I can, just to give you the full coverage. And this is the station fully lit, minus the station building, which is yet to be added. So I'm really pleased with that, because to me that's got the right amount of lighting in it. It's not too much. I don't think it's in your face. I don't think it's like a UFO type lighting, where it's just kind of really kind of like overpowering. So I'm really pleased with that. It just gives it a nice kind of ambience to it. So, and like I said, all of this can be unplugged from the mains, and also independently I could take the backboards out, and that will allow me to have a full independence of moving the layout when it needs to be moved. So it isn't going to be in the way, or it's going to make it more tricky. It's just plug and play stuff. So all the lights at the station are now fully working and fully functioning. So this concludes the end of my video for today, and I hope you've enjoyed it. My apologies if it's a bit on the long side. It comes across like I don't actually know how long it is going to be in total, but it does come across like it might be quite a long video. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you like what you've seen. Any comments welcome. I've actually got something else to tell you quickly just before we go. 2 things. I was going to add a proper running session video to this, but I'm going to do that separately. The reason it being is it's a special video, because recently, like I said, I passed my 2,000 subscriber mark, so I wanted to do a running video for that. Also, on a personal note, a few days ago marked an anniversary, and that was that in 2007, being 13 years ago, a few days ago, it marked my transition and me going full time, being transgendered. So 13 years ago marks that anniversary, so it's quite a special kind of video, this one. So what I'm going to do is going to sort of do that, mark it with a really nice running session. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be doing that soon. I'm not sure quite exactly when, but the things, I didn't want to add it to this because I already knew that this video was going to be quite a long video. So until the next time, look out for that video, and thank you for your support. And also, I know I don't really want to add in a sour note, but I will just quickly say this. I've had 1 or 2 comments about my gender in the past on my videos, and all the negative stuff and really horrible stuff will just get reported. So anybody who kind of watches that and kind of puts anything, you'll get reported, because I've had 1 or 2. On the whole, it hasn't really been an issue, and everyone's been really great. But I know I have had 1 or 2. In fact, I got a notification a few weeks ago about somebody putting a comment up, and I looked at it, and it wasn't really a really nice comment about me personally. But I'm happy to be open about who I am. I really don't care, and I just like to think that people can respect who I am, and in general, everyone does. So anyway, just to put that on in the picture there, and just to let you guys know. But like I say, on the whole, everyone's been so fantastic towards me, and I thank you so much for your support and your time and your comments over the years. So until the next time, it's goodbye from Millenhall, and like I said, hopefully I'll get a really nice running session up for you soon with some music, so you can have a bit of a boogie whilst you're watching, and hopefully it will just fly by. So until the next time, it's bye from Millenhall Farmer.